What I love most about what I do is I get to make women fabulous every single day.
Tonight,
I just need to do something for somebody else.
stories that inspire.
To have my son included in something so special as high school football, it doesn't happen to everybody.
They are our neighbors.
I can't say it wasn't scary because it definitely was.
Stories that rarely make the headlines.
I'm not anybody extraordinary, just another guy.
For the next half hour, a WOWT 6 News special. People here at home.
Good evening, I'm Brian Mastre. Happy Thanksgiving. On this day where we give thanks, we thought, why not share a number of inspirational stories assembled by our team of journalists? It's an occasional series of reports we call People Here at Home that air during our regular newscasts. After all, if all we showed were crashes, shootings, and fires, we'd have a warped sense of reality. We begin tonight with the story of one man and his guitar sharing melody in a place of uncertainty.
With each note, hospital chaplain Dale Ratchford pours his heart and soul out for an audience of one.
Sometimes they fall asleep, sometimes they just smile.
For most musicians, putting their audience to sleep isn't their goal. But when your patients are babies like Clara Dahl,
It's an honor for me to give a gift to them.
he is the calm amidst heart monitors and IVs here in the NICU at Children's Hospital.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so.
And like most musicians, he even takes requests.
Oh, it's her favorite song. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Jesus Loves Me. Clara's eyes wide open. It helps her ignore the constant pain she has been in for 5 months.
Oh, hallelujah.
Pain, something Dale knows all too well. He has dealt with it for most of his life.
I have Crohn's disease, and I've been dealing with that for probably 20 years. Music has been healing for me.
Healing, this father of 6 set out to give others. He taught himself to play the guitar.
This is a way that I can give to them spiritually.
And despite having to stop his songs for a quick pacifier break,
There we go. That's much better.
his audience is never disappointed.
Every time he prays, she cracks a smile. It's the sweetest thing. It's so sweet.
Saved a soul like me.
How sweet was that? Thanks for sharing, Mallory. Sports always has a way of galvanizing a community, a city, a student body. Now wait until you see what happens when an iPhone is thrown into the mix.
Most fans can only get so close, but some overcome the barriers and find a way inside.
To have my son included in something so special as high school football, it doesn't happen to everybody.
Zane is 11 years old and he was born with spina bifida. He's allowed to park on the track to watch the games and, oh yeah, admire his dad.
We really like the family atmosphere.
He doesn't sit alone.
It was cold.
His friend Bruce sits close by, but until recently, the distance has been much greater.
He can hear, and that's all fine, but it's the verbal communications that we struggle with.
Zane can't speak, but the gift of an iPhone opened up the lines of communication. Zane, how has the iPhone changed your life?
Zane says it helps me communicate for people who don't know sign language.
Most take the iPhone for granted. Few cherish it like the Williams.
Love you, buddy.
It's a sigh of relief. I think it's every parent's fear just to, that their kid is going to be accepted, and then you add challenges on top of it.
That boy in the wheelchair, texting away.
Typical teenager. At times he texts a little too much.
All because the iPhone opened up lines once disconnected.
I feel like sending Zane a text right now. The old market draws tourists from across the country, and all that people traffic brings in entertainers for the street. Don't you want to ask some of them? What's your story?
Peter Magin pours his heart into his music. His stage, the sidewalk on the corner of 11th and Howard. His audience, casual passers-by.
How's it going? Thank you, ma'am. Y'all have a good one.
While people sometimes put cash in his case, Peter doesn't play for money, and he isn't homeless. He's in the U.S. Air Force, a mechanic stationed at Offutt in Bellevue. But his true passion is music.
The glass, the cornrows come like rain. I'm gonna play for 2 hours either inside my house or something, or I can come out here and hopefully spread some joy. So.
Last year, Peter's passion for music grew even stronger when he was at his weakest. On an Air Force mission in Africa, he developed a serious leg infection which could have killed him. He was also hit with a serious and chronic infection in his colon. He lost 60 pounds and couldn't walk. But he could still play.
Oh, it kept me going.
While Peter's made a full recovery, he still has to get monthly medicine injections for the rest of his life, meaning he can no longer deploy for the Air Force. So in March, he'll leave the military and go home to his native South Carolina. His plan?
I got my eye on working on a shrimp boat at the beach. 'Cause I'm coming home.
Peter, keep on spreading the joy. I don't know about you, but I'm always much better at remembering a face than remembering the name. For one man named Ernie, he's good with both.
Coming in and out of the OPS TAC building are a lot of people who mold minds and change lives.
I'm not anybody extraordinary.
Ernie Wright does not think he's one of them.
Just another guy.
He's the security guard.
Coming in.
His interaction time with people,
Hi, how are you?
normally just long enough to open the door.
Hi, how you doing?
But there is one thing he never misses.
Bye, Anita. Sherry.
Each and every
Bye, Lita. Have a good night.
person's name.
Hi, Cynthia. Carmen. Have a good night.
It's such a small gesture, remembering a name.
You know, it makes you feel special and it makes you feel important in this day and age.
It is a gift because I'm terrible with names.
Feels good. It's really cool that he remembers everyone's name.
Yeah, it's a myth that I know everybody's name. That's not totally true.
But after 13 years on the job, he certainly knows a lot.
Well, it once was my goal to know everybody in the district, but that's impossible.
Why, though?
I think it makes you a better person. That's another thing about me. I feel bad if I let somebody go without saying goodbye. That's silly. That's kind of silly.
But no one here thinks it's silly.
Hasta mañana. Hasta mañana. This is like a family. I would really hate to leave them, but that's going to come. Probably sooner than later. But
This 75-year-old may be retiring by the end of the school year. A sad thought, because in these seconds,
bye, Jasmine.
He's made friends.
Hi, Karen. How you doing?
Brightened days.
Yeah, bye, Robin. Have a good night.
And made real-life connections.
I am a part of all I've ever met, and that is so true.
Changing lives in small, positive ways. What more could we want coming out of the halls of academia?
A lot of times I never get away from this door.
I don't know about you, but I won't forget Ernie's name. Good luck in retirement. Still ahead on this WWT 6 News special, the people here at home.
I did not expect anything to be handed to me.
A Syrian refugee making a difference in Omaha. And a rug made of what? When People Here at Home returns.